Hey folks, AJ the CEO here, and in this video we're going to walk through the parts list needed for First Gravel Hill Baptist Church. So let's go. Hey folks, AJ the CEO here. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, thanks for stopping by. And on this channel we focus on tips, training, strategies, reviews, and builds to help modernize your media ministry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you like what we're doing here, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com for as little as $1 a month. Link is in the description. All right, so I pretty much did a video showing me actually a long video that I tried to cut down as much as possible about a walkthrough that I did at my cousin and aunt's and uncle's church, and a lot of y'all wanted to know what actual parts that I would get with that. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I will have a link to everything in the link in the description, but I want to walk you through all of the parts that I will be getting with this install. So let's cut over to the computer. All right, so here at the top, we're going to do with our PTZ camera. And I've mentioned this before, these are the PTZ cameras that I like, the ATEM imaging cameras right here. And these are the new models here. And as you can see on the back, we have the RS-232 input for control, but these can also be controlled over IP, which is what we're going to be using. IP Ethernet cables are going to come in here, connect this to our network, and we'll get to that. And then we have power, and we're going to have S-video over SDI, excuse me, going in here. So we're going to have Ethernet coming in, power coming in, and SDI cable to pull control and video from this camera, front and the back. They both come with mounts. At least that's what it said. That's what the older ones did, so I'm assuming these will come in. Now, one thing I am questioning, the max that they have is a 20x zoom on this. Worst case scenario, if this does not work, I will switch the back one out with a PTZ Optics 30x zoom, which adds about $200 to the price of this. All right, so let's cut back over here again. So, and outside of that, we're gonna have two 75-inch screens, which pretty much the church is going to have someone donate those. So originally I had them in my description, but we don't really need those now. But I am going to use these mounts because they want me to mount them. So I'm going to get about 6 of these, and it will cover every single monitor except for the one that's going in the media booth for the multi-view. And that's just going to be this Peerless AV, can go from support a 39-inch screen TV all the way up to a 90. So that's more than enough since we're going with 75 inches. And these were actually the monitors I was going to get that actually I don't need here anymore. But these honestly are a very good price. These Samsung 4K 75 inches were less than $1,000 or maybe $1,030 at their regular price. All right, if we cut back over here, the cables that we got, I've used these cables many a time and I really like their quality. And these are the comprehensive 100-foot HD 3G SDI BNC cables. Now, I could go with some 6G ones. Don't really think I need to, but I think these are going to be fine because we're not actually doing 4K over this, even though the TVs are 4K, which saves us in the future. But we're gonna go with these cables for right now. And I got a ton of these because that is a very long run from the front of the sanctuary through the attic and all the way back. So I'm just compensating for double the distance. Just in case if we don't need them, I will return the extra cables. And I got a bunch of length of these cables, 6 foot, couple of 50 foots, and some 3 feet just for the other connections, because honestly when it comes to price of these cables, like, you know, you can see that a 6 foot is $16, another one is like $15, so it's like, why not? Just, you know, they're so close, but I don't want to have a whole bunch of cables all over the place. All right, so the next thing we got here is those jacks are just going to be, and that's what some of these extra cables are for. And really all that we're going to be using is putting like a wall plate, wall jack or plate if we can fish all the way down. But it would just be a box that's right there on the floor that sticks out with a keystone for a BNC connector with a right angle that goes right into the bottom of that jack through the cable, through a conduit. And then so when somebody else wants to use that manual camera, which is going to be, I think we're going to stick with the Canon G50. Very, very good camera. I'm going to have, and actually now it's back ordered from that time, but we'll figure out something. It's going to be either the G40 or the G50. And we're going to take that camera and put it on this rolling tripod, which I really, really like, as well as an HDMI to SDI with power. So we're going to have a power strip strapped down to one of these legs so the camera and everything can plug in with the converter. The converter will be on here somewhere too. So out of the camera, the Canon G50, say we get that one, HDMI is going to go out into that box, going to convert over to SDI. Cable will be tethered with maybe a loop of 100 feet of cable, and then it just plugged into one of those jacks on the left or the right side of the sanctuary. And then now, because it has this rolling attachment, and actually I might have grabbed the wrong one. Yeah, I did. It normally had a wheelbase at the bottom where you can actually roll it around, so I need to switch that one out. But this one also comes with a pan, a zoom in and out for the remote. So we can put that on the handle right there, as you can see. Makes it really easy for somebody operating that. All right, so if we cut back over to our image again, and so far we've already covered, now we covered everything in the front and the side where we have those TVs. Again, they're not using the TVs, but we will have the SDI to HDMI adapters that will be Velcro to the back of the TV, because we're going to pull power from the TV over USB. We're just going to put the jack in place and maybe hang the mount, or probably just leave the mount available so that if we ever decide to, you know, hang them, they're ready to hang them. We don't have to go buy the mounts. The mounts are already there. All right, so the next thing we have, we're going to go to our distribution. And for our distribution, really simple. I've used these before. We are going to go with the Blackmagic Mini converters. All right, and we're going to get two of these because what's going to come out of here is we're going to have the ATEM Television Studio, and then we're going to have this distribution. So let's cut over here. And on the ATEM Television Studio HD, if we look on the back, let's zoom in here so y'all can see. So we have our program out and we have our aux out. So both of these are going to be connected to one of the distribution hubs. So with this distribution, as you can see, oh, there's no zoom on this one. So we're just going to bring in SDI in, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 outputs to feed everything else. So we're going to have this feed coming in, and let's bring the image up. Let's count over here. So we're going to have, y'all can't see my mouse. So we're going to count the output. So we have the 2 monitors in the front. That's 1, 2. Then we have the 2 monitors on the side. That's 4. We have the back monitor, that's 5. And then we have the output that's going to our live streaming system, which is going to be 6. So we'll still have 2 extra outputs from our primary program out. Now, actually, let me take that back. We'll have 1, because I'm actually going to run a direct line from that box all the way to the media, to the multi-purpose rooms, because we want that to show the exact same thing. All right. Now, the other box, which we might not need, is actually going to feed the 2 monitors that are going to be in the entrance, but we have place for 6 more. Now, with the ATEM Television Studio, this allows, you can have the aux and the program show the exact same thing, or you can have them show a different. So when we have the 2 televisions that are in the narthex or the entrance of the church showing announcements, for example. At the press of a button, you can automatically push that out to show on the aux out to show the exact same thing. So I don't have it on my ATEM right now, but if I cut over here to the software that I'm using to do this, oh, I already had it up. So if I have this here for the software to do this, normally under this output, there would be an aux out, another drop down for aux out, and you can just set it. So for example, if we wanted to have just announcements going over and say we're on HDMI input number 4, you can say the aux is hard coded directly, routed directly to output number 4. So it will always show that computer that's doing a slideshow or something like that. And then easily somebody can just come in here and switch it back to program, and now it's going to be showing the exact same thing that everyone in the sanctuary scene will be seeing here. All right, so we've gotten our distribution, our video mixer, our cameras, and what else did we got? So we have all that coming through, and we went through the HD ATEM Television Studio HD. Now I closed it way too fast, so let's look back over here real quick again on the back. Let's zoom in. So if we switch over, as you can see, we have analog in, so we can just come straight out of XLR out of the back of the Behringer X32 and goes directly into the ATEM Television Studio, and that will feed audio to all the other TVs, anything like that. Now again, because of the multi-purpose room, we're not going to be pulling sound from the TV. What we're going to be doing, since they already have sound in there on the X32, what we're going to do is put this Behringer Shark automatic feedback destroyer. And the reason why we're using this is it has this delay that we can do. So in the back, we would just take the cable coming out of the X32 for the channels that's going to the speakers in the multi-purpose room. That's going to come in here, and then we just do another cable that comes out and then goes right back to the connection that was already in the multi-purpose room, and then we just have to dial it in to where it's in sync with the video. It shouldn't be that much of a delay, but this would allow us to put that delay in place. All right, so we've gone over the system. The sound is coming in over XLR. We add the sound delay on that one channel for the multi-purpose room, because they already have speakers in there. Everywhere else, sound can come from the TV, and the sound can come from that TV that's in the multi-purpose room too. So if they really wanted to, they can just not leave the sound on through the speakers and just go through the TV. But they have very nice speakers in there, so those are always going to be better than sound from the TV. All right, we talked about the SDI to HDMI. That's what's on the back of every single TV, the distribution hubs, everything like that. And then we're going to build a custom computer. You can look at any other my videos, and we've already talked about the systems that we're going to build for that. Now this system is going to be live streaming, as well as it is also going to be doing the presentations of lyrics and scriptures using Worship Extreme, because currently they have no form of software at all for that. All right, so let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything in here. Oh yeah, we have the remote control and the switch. So again, this is an IP. Well, let's start with the switch first. And y'all already know, if you've been on any of my channel long enough, you'll know what type of networking stuff I'm going to use, which is going to be a Unify PoE switch. Now the reason I'm using PoE is because one of the devices with the ATEM that we're going to be using actually can be powered over the network. So that's the reason why I'm going to do that. But again, we don't have a lot of connections, but this will serve for what we're going to use for networking, hooking all the computers, as well as the cameras, because also I've already talked with the folks at ATEM Imaging, and they've gave me a nice couple of bits of gear to where I can actually power the cameras over PoE. It's an ejector that matches the same amount of power that those devices could do. So technically, I really only have to run an SDI cable and one Ethernet cable to that. or possibly I'm always going to run double anyway, but that could serve without having to put power there. But we'll talk about that in a later video. I'm still in talks with the folks at ATEM Imaging on how to get that sorted out. But that'll be our switch. I don't think we need anything more than that because that's 16 ports, because we got the Behringer if it's already not connected. We got the remote control. We have the 2 cameras that are going to be fed back, so that's 4. We have the computer, you know, and that's 5. So don't really think we need more than that, but it's good the fact that we do have multiple space. So say that we could easily put an access point there in the sanctuary because we already have a PoE switch, and we might be in the attic. We might be able to do that anyway, but you never know. But it's good to have. All right, and then for our remote, same remote I've used in many other times is the PTZ Optics 4D joystick. It's actually the exact same one, similar to what I installed at Good Shepherd and Liberty Baptist Church. It looks exactly the same. The only thing they did, they added a RJ45 LAN port in here, because actually the RS232 and the other jacks actually don't even work. They even say it in the description. Yeah, the controller works only over Ethernet. It's not active. So you plug this in over Ethernet, plug the other cameras over Ethernet, and then you put in the IP addresses, and then they can control each other. So that is the setup. And I didn't specifically, outside of those 75 inches TVs that I had, I really didn't talk about any specific TVs. Obviously, you will want them to be identical, because that makes it so much easier, especially the ones that are going to be in the sanctuary. You don't want like a Samsung on the left and an LG on the right, something like that. So ideally, you will want all of them to be the same since they're already the same size. But honestly, it doesn't really matter what other type of monitors you got. Honestly, like I said, if all of them are the same, you should only be able to have one remote, and you can turn them all on, which will be very, very cool and easy to do. But I think that is about it. So for everybody who wanted to know what parts and kit and everything that I would use, that's exactly what it is. And a link will be in the description to all the parts that I have in there. And I think that's about it. So if you like this type of content, I appreciate a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. And if you like what we're doing here, again, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com. You can get it started as little as $1 a month, which help us grow this channel, get new products to review for y'all, so y'all don't have to spend your money on it, as well as it helps us enhance and get more training of media ministries all over the world. And before I close out, thank you so much. We just hit 1 million views on this channel. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. So anyway, this is AJ. We will see you on the next video. Later.